Hi, Levi DeMonte. And coming out of class today, some of the, I guess, observations I've realized is Claude makes it easy to lose track of time, and you're constantly like working on the software because there's certain features that you just gotta have in it. And wow, I think I spent a lot of time on Claude, and now I have to freeze the features for the software and just let them be because uh, this is how feature creep actually works. When you're the user of the software, you're like, oh wow, this would be neat. Oh wow, this would be neat. There isn't a reason why this shouldn't be working like this. And so being the user and the developer, wow, that's really hard because yeah, I mean I have to spend the time. And even though Claude has created um, a system that really speeds up uh, development, and so you really get that sense of, yeah, this is possible to squeeze it in, but you have to stop because even though Claude does a lot, you're still sitting in front of the computer. You're looking at the interactions, you're reading the logs, the comments, whatever Claude produces, and you really are comparing that to the code that you have. Things break, especially when you're trying to put new features in, and you're wondering if you can squeeze it in before uh, this, date. Like for example, I teach Mondays and Wednesdays, and if I'm working over the weekend, I'm like, I can get this by Friday, I can get this by Monday, I can get this by Monday, I can get this by Monday morning, I can get this by Monday afternoon. So it's one of those things where you have to really take the time and step back and say, hey, uh, your features are frozen, um, because it will break the software. And of course, you're doing version control, so it's not like it's a big deal. Like the big deal is that you want it, right? The big deal isn't the software is broken in production, but you want these features. You want to go ahead and play with them. Um, I think the other thing too is to kind of stop and just do a real quick check. I have telemetry data. How many people are actually using it, right? And I find that my students aren't using it the way they're supposed to, that I thought they would, right? I thought I'd get 100% uh, user acceptance rate. I really did. But I'm about a third of people using it the way they're supposed to, the way I envisioned it. So, I'm realizing that I'm going to have to, as an educator, like assign homework that's around the software so that this users get a better sense, even more, about what can happen, how much further they can go. Now, um, you know, I also have to keep in mind that people are busy, right? They're going to school to learn English. Doesn't mean that they don't have a life, and it doesn't mean I'm the only class they're taking. I think my tool can help with other classes, but students probably have things compartmentalized and say this is for his class, and blah blah blah. And there is another thing that I have to, um, I guess, teach, right? How these tools are tools for your learning, not just for my class. And I need to go back and remind students of that. These are lifelong tools that you use outside of the classroom. This is a strategy for learning the language as quickly as possible. So we did go over Gemini storybook successfully today, and I wanted to kind of like gloss over it because I had other things like actual pronunciation that I want to use, um, to target, like to actually go over your muscles and placements and really, especially with vowel sounds, understand and listen to the subtleties in the different vowel sounds, which is difficult, right? So I wanted to press the point on that, and that didn't really take too much AI. That was really more about um, talking through that lesson. Now, there are websites out there, again, I'm finding, and I have to be very explicit with these students, um, and then go back and say, hey, this is how this website can help you. I'm thinking now about having more of the using the tools in class. just so that they get practice in class using them. I think I should do that for the next 3 weeks. 'Cause I think another problem is they're just not wanting to mess with the tool because they're maybe a little bit afraid of the tool. So getting them more practice would help them. And not just my tool, any tool like Notebook LM, Gemini, stuff like that. Um, AI tools, I should say. And today I kind of ended class early. And what was that due to? Well, we just changed the hours, so maybe I was a little tired. Don't know. Um, yeah. Here. I think the takeaway here is, there. It. I'm a little disappointed that the software wasn't the magic bullet that infused enthusiasm inside the classroom. I really thought the software was just going to infuse the enthusiasm. People were going to take to it and be like, wow, this is super exciting. So you mean I can target my pronunciation? And not happening, right? So I also need to get their feedback about why. So I need to be more explicit about getting feedback from the users themselves. So I think I'll stop the features. I will not even ask Claude to code one more thing for the next 3 weeks. Give the time to do some analysis on the user experience to figure out um, why isn't it motivating the students to use it more. That's kind of thing. Maybe it needs to be more gamification. Maybe the UI needs to be simpler, right? Because maybe learning to ask the AI agent for what it wants, and I got to give them time to be able to do that. So working through the pronunciation for that, yeah, because I'm really targeting English language, and if my users aren't comfortable with a level of English, that could be a hindrance. Um, yeah, but I'm kind of also feeling drained because yeah, you could sit in front of Claude for hours, while it does this thing, test your software, um, yeah, and just seeing it run and just being tickled pink by all the features that are jammed in within 2 months that would have never been possible by yourself. That tickles you pink, but now it needs to stop being the game of how what kind of software I can build, and now it's the game of okay, how functional, how usable can this software be, and that's going to take some time to look at what the users are doing and yeah, kind of doing user analysis kind of stuff. So that's exciting too. That's a part of software development that's pretty exciting. Yeah, that's about it. The next couple of weeks, I do want to target pronunciation in a better way. My students are used to doing presentations, but I also want to go beyond just presentations and have them maybe create a script and using the IPA to target their pronunciation even with the script. So what I might do is have them read the script without the IPA, then read the script as IPA, and then have them both lined up with the English text on top of the IPA text and see like every stage. First of all, they're just getting used to saying the words, but to see if that actually helps with the pronunciation. And hopefully there's something that they can reflect on. Because we are going through these symbols of the IPA and what the symbols mean, but it's kind of difficult if you're not really like studying it. Is that continued studying that will eventually get them to understand the symbols. And again, I don't really want them to memorize the symbols, just to have an understanding to help guide their pronunciation. Yeah. Okay. Loved Claude, but this has to be the end of Claude because Claude will just have you add a feature, add another feature, add another feature. or maybe pivot to a different application. Yeah, something. Claude is amazing. And I can think, yeah, there's a couple of projects I can put. Don't do it, Lee. Don't do it. Claude is talking to you. Yeah, Claude. No, I'm not doing any more projects. Okay. I have my major project. I'm gonna focus on my major project. I'm not gonna add any more features. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure the students are engaged because there's so many tools out there, not just my tool. So many tools out there to help engage students. All right, and hopefully I start putting that up because that storybook was pretty awesome. I played with it today for Gemini generating a storybook. I'm gonna figure out how to keep the vocabulary targeted. Um, and then again, yeah, they're gonna write their own scripts for the content and show them how to write scripts for their content, which everybody uses Gemini for, or some kind of AI agent, ChatGPT, and then to have that with the IPA scripting also, pronunciation clues, and to showing them how to do that, to go through that. That's a whole day's work, and I think that's actually benefit them a lot. All right, thanks for listening.